Good afternoon, friends. It is CFLW, the show for this Friday, December the 12th. Rusty with you here. I hope you're having a fantastic afternoon. Great to hear from everyone. Coming up in this live stream, we're going to be talking about some gorgeous sunny weather, but some changes on the way, especially towards the end of the weekend. We actually have a warm front from our south going to lift north. It's going to try to give a couple of areas a few showers, going to try and warm things up a bit. But a pretty powerful cold front coming in Sunday night and into Monday will bring us some very chilly weather to kick off the week. As always, CFLW, this show is sponsored by the lead law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They cover the entire state. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. You get property damage of any kind. They can walk you through that insurance claim process. Check them out by going to leanomelaw.com if you guys would like more information. Great to hear from everyone. Hi, Nancy. Good afternoon to you. 73 degrees in Wedgefield. How about that crisp 38% humidity? Love to hear that. Hey, Blue Goose, how are you? Good afternoon, my friend. 63 degrees up in St. Augustine. 49% humidity, partly cloudy skies. Great afternoon ahead. All right. Every so often, my system, if I keep it on the same view, gets wonky with these temperatures. I just have to move it. So we're warming up nicely. It was a cool start to the day. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon ahead. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, but again, we're going to see some changes here as we get towards the weekend. Let's take a look at some of our live cameras to begin the day. It's going to be a live look outside to Winter Garden. Just some fair clouds out there right now, a little bit of contrail coming in, and just some really thin, high, wispy clouds, but plenty of sunshine, very light winds. What a beautiful afternoon. Again, you like the cool weather, you get it in the morning. You want a little bit milder weather, you get it into the afternoon hours, but an abundant amount of sunshine across Central Florida on this Friday. Live look outside to Winter Park. It's that hue in the sky, right, that just tells you it's more of a winter sky out there, with the low humidity and just a few thin, high, wispy clouds. Even though there's some moisture in the atmosphere, friends, there's nothing to lift it and to provide any cloud coverage for the most part outside of a few thin, high clouds. We are looking off towards the east from this camera, and when we look at the Conway cam, you can see just a few clouds in the distance, a little bit closer towards the east coast. So Blue Goose was mentioning partly cloudy skies there along St. Augustine, and just a few more clouds trying to stick right along our east coast. But otherwise, plenty of sun and glass on the lake there from Conway, southeast sound of downtown Orlando. And then a live look outside to the attractions area. You want to talk about a 5-star banner day to get to the attractions. Looking great for the remainder of the day if you want to head out later this afternoon, or if you want to check out what's going on with the fireworks displays a little bit later into the evening hours. Hey, Chessie, good afternoon to you as well. Blue Goose got the Bustelo going. I don't blame you one bit. I've already had my couple of cups of coffee. I'm ready to go. We've switched to, we like to do the seasonal thing, so we've switched to like the holiday blend Keurigs. We've got the peppermint bark because my wife loves that. Of course, we make a pot of coffee, then we'll delve into the Keurigs if we want to as well. But we like the seasonal thing as well. But she always has the Cafe Bustelo on hand when needed, so I get you there. Listen, nice, cool, crisp day. Let me talk about what I do expect as far as changes on the way as we get towards the end of the weekend. There is a very weak boundary which has been able to push its way all the way south of the Keys and even into the central side of the Bahamas. And you can see there's a little bit of moisture gathering along that. You can see the thicker cloud coverage right now and even a couple of showers here, right? This boundary is just going to work its way north through today, Saturday and Sunday, and eventually make its way into Central Florida as a very weak warm front Sunday and into Sunday night. And with that opportunity, we're going to have maybe a couple of showers in our southern areas on Sunday. And if nothing else, a little bit of extra cloud coverage, but south winds will actually warm things up a bit in the afternoon hours. But eventually a stronger cold front's going to be coming in to really bring us some cooler weather for the start of the week. And again, temperatures at the hour right now. I mean, look at I'll see if that METAR site's reporting there. I'm not sure. It says the noontime temperature in St. Augustine was a crisp 61. And the reason why it's a little bit cooler along the coast, of course, we have our winds that are going to be onshore along the east coast. So if we take a look at those, make those a little bit bigger for you guys. Right along the immediate coast, we should have a touch of a onshore wind here. It looks like the analysis is trying to push it offshore, but we should have a bit of an east wind here. Yeah, the arrows today, and notice they went blank because we should have an east to a northeast wind. I mean, it's light and it's variable. Let's see what St. Augustine had lately. Yeah, a bit of a northeast breeze. So I think the winds are so gentle across Central Florida that the analysis tool can't even pick it up, right? And you can see that the winds are stronger near this boundary, but that's all going to start lifting to the north as we go over the next couple of days. Chesapeake got down to 36 this morning in Spring Hill. Yeah, it was cold. As a matter of fact, if we go at temperatures, let me just bring up temperatures real quick. Anyone have any fog this morning, by the way? If we go back to temperatures real quick, and I take it back to, should go all the way back to 7. We'll see if it cooperates here. Yeah, it did. Okay. So these were the 7 a.m. temperatures. You know what? I think my system, oh no, it came on. So Jesse said 36. We've got 33 down on the southern sides of Hernando County. I did want to highlight this. Nothing that I saw actually hit freezing with the METAR sites in Central Florida. Now, Cross City got down to 32, but it was really close across portions of western Marion and Levy and Citrus counties. Crystal River got down to 34 this morning. Inverness, 36 degrees. There's that 33 there. Even Zephyr Hills was in at 39. 40s to right around 50 in Tampa. So it really was very cold this morning. And we flirted with some areas and some sheltered rural areas to get down briefly to the freezing mark. Now, there was no, even at Cross City hitting 32, there was no duration of a freeze, right? They touched 32 and then they were right back up. So it really had no freeze impacts to plants or property or anything like that, you know, but if you had some thicker frost, let me know. Nancy had no fog, just clear and calm. And there is the opportunity that we'll actually get a little bit of fog in here the next couple of days as well. But yes, when you have the air this dry, and if I show you guys the dew points here, which are going to be very, very low, 30s and 40s, when the air is this dry and the winds are light and the air is still, you get about as good of radiational cooling overnight as you can. And you do get very cold starts to the morning, but with the sunshine, you tend to get very pleasant afternoons. You get a very large diurnal temperature range from your morning low to your afternoon hot. And that's what I do expect the next couple of days as well. But some sub-freezing temperatures near the Panhandle, southern sides of Alabama and Georgia as well. But again, crisp, beautiful afternoon ahead for us here. So I want to talk about the changes that are going to be on the way for the weekend. Starting off here with a look at the chance for any rain tomorrow. Okay. Now you notice that the Storm Prediction Center, and this is just kind of a good indication of where we might have a few showers or rumble of thunder pop up tomorrow. I don't expect there to be any rain in Central Florida for your Saturday. Should be a beautiful day for tomorrow. Now, if for some reason your travels take you down to the southern third of the state, from Port St. Lucie south to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, or west towards Naples and Homestead and the Keys, where you know anyone who lives down there, that boundary is going to be lifting far enough north where there's at least the opportunity that we're going to see a couple of showers or a rumble of thunder there for Saturday. Okay. And then actually that was Saturday. Okay. And then this is Sunday, which takes us just a little bit farther north. So Sunday, we could have a couple of showers and a rumble of thunder try and make a run to a coastal Indian River County. And I can't rule out some extra cloud coverage and at least a couple of light showers in southern Brevard and Osceola and Polk counties as well. But more than anything, temperatures should climb a couple of degrees with this, and then we're going to start to see some big changes with a more powerful cold front. So let's get into what I expect with the rain. I'm going to bring up the HRRR model here. High resolution rapid refresh. Now again, this only takes us to Sunday morning, but we'll look at that because I think it's always a great analysis tool. And then we'll break down the potential for some fog and where the temperatures are going after that. If I zoom out and show you guys the broader perspective, you can clearly see this boundary lifting north. It's going to be a wet 48 hours for the central and northern Bahamas. We're going to have some showers and some heavier rain for places like Nassau and Freeport and Lucaya there in Grand Bahama, all of the Keys, Miami. This could be pockets of pretty heavy rain from time to time. Let me bring on the model timeline once again. Again, this just takes us out to Sunday morning, but you get the idea that there is, for December, a fair amount of moisture associated with some of this activity. Now, again, for Central Florida, we're still going to be too dry. The atmosphere is just moisture starved. Even that some of this, moisture overrunning the warm front as it lifts north might throw some thin and mid-level clouds our way by Saturday evening and overnight into Sunday morning, but nothing more than that. So when we kick off the day on Sunday, we'll still be dry, but fairly wet weather, especially for the Bahamas. If we take a look at the amount of rain associated with this by Sunday morning, you get the idea that it's not just light showers. There is several inches of rain possible right along the I-95 corridor for Fort Lauderdale and Hallandale Beach in Miami and Lauderdale by the Sea and Boca, places like that, all the way up towards West Palm. And then pockets of the pockets of the Bahamas are likely to see some heavier rain as well, maybe a few inches of rain. If you look at that, you get towards those pinks and you're getting into, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in a couple of spots. Now, most of this is likely to fall on the immediate coast or just offshore, but just wanted to give you guys an indication of the fact that this is a moisture-laden boundary that's coming with us. But the savior, if you will, from seeing some of this heavier rain like we did last week with one of these boundaries is the next cold front coming in on Sunday to push that thing right back to the south and to quickly bring us cooler and drier air again. So let me show you how that plays out. I'm going to go over to the NAM model real quick, and then we'll look at the GFS. If I go to reflectivity here, this is going to take us out till Sunday night. Now, one of the things about the NAM is it picks up a lot of moisture in the atmosphere that never ultimately becomes showers. So you're going to see a little bit more green on this map overall. It's not rain, just a little bit more moisture-laden air. Hey, Cujo, how you doing? Hey, Garrett, how are you, man? Yeah, 10 degrees in North Carolina overnight. It is chilly, and we have more 30s coming our way by Monday and Tuesday as well. So they get the brunt of it, but we certainly get some impacts as well. That's good to see no one had to fog. I still expect there to be the opportunity, especially as this warm front gets closer, Sunday and Monday mornings, or even tomorrow morning in a couple of spots, to see a little bit of fog. Again, through Sunday evening here on the NAM model, you're not going to see much. There might be a few extra clouds and a couple of sprinkles off towards our south. But when I bring on, and I'm going to go to the GFS to do this, if this boundary was able to continue to move to the north, it would have likely brought us more rain. But at the same point in time, I'm going to bring on our wind vectors here and loop this up at the same time. Actually, let me do this. I want to go back to here. Now let's go here. Okay, so I'm looping up the rain and then the winds because I want you guys to see how the wind profile is going to play out and bring us the changes that I'm expecting. You can see that along our boundary, the winds are mainly out of the east, right? As the boundary begins to lift north, the winds will start to turn out of the south. That's the warm front lifting up towards the north, right? It's going to take a little bit of time here. Hopefully this thing will pop back on, but you'll start to see that. But do you see by the end of this time frame how quickly our winds have shifted back out of the north? So we never really get the full southerly winds and the moisture coming in this far north. It's really close, like Indian River County south. But the timing of the next cold front just so happens to be that it's blasting through the area as the weaker warm front tries to lift north, the stronger cold front winds out, the reinforcement of the cooler, drier, and windier conditions will be back in store starting on Monday morning. So again, we are brushed by the warm front that is going to bring several inches of rain to southern Florida. So if we look at the remainder of this is starting tomorrow morning, you'll start to see this moisture come up. Again, GFS, just like the HUR and the NAM, very wet for the southern third of the state, all the way tomorrow and into Sunday morning. As these south and east winds try and creep up the coast, look to our north, guys, in a very quick turn with the front coming in. This is Sunday at 10 a.m. That's the battleground. But by the afternoon hours, the north winds have begun to win out. It's going to take all of the moisture that's trying to lift north and push it back offshore and away from us in a very quick blast of cooler weather. Now, with the front, a little bit of moisture, but probably staying offshore. Right here at the surface, inland, across Central Florida, we're very dry. Where would I potentially see a little bit of shower activity with the front? It's going to be right along the East Coast. Just a touch of a northerly breeze, okay? And an easterly component to that. The winds are going to get very breezy and gusty along the coast as we get into Sunday night and Monday morning. All of these pinks that you guys see, these are winds in that 25 mile an hour range. If I switch our vector profile here and bring up the text, let's see here. There we go. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but you notice as you get into these pinks, just offshore, you start to see winds coming out of the northeast in that 20 to 25 mile an hour range. Likely the strongest winds are going to stay just offshore, but it is going to get windy. It is going to get windy across our coastline. Take those sizes down just a little bit for you guys, but you get the idea. All right, strong north winds, a few light showers, might even have the marine layer trying to develop, but remember the winds are pretty strong, so that's not likely. And then we just get into some cooler weather. Again, a little bit of moisture left over, but not expecting a lot of showers on Monday. So if this front timing weren't going to be coming in later on Sunday, this warm front would bring us potentially some heavier rain, but I don't think it makes it that far north. I think the front, cold front timing reinforces the cooler, drier air. All right, so let's look at some of the forecasts, and then we'll get into the potential for some fog and what lies beyond. So this is what it looks like for the attractions, okay? Beautiful days. Patchy fog is possible both tomorrow and Sunday mornings. Locally dense, but very patchy indeed. 51 tomorrow morning, so still a cool start, probably a light jacket or a windbreaker for most, but a great afternoon. You can get away with whatever you want to wear in the afternoon hours. 76 the daytime high under mostly sunny skies. The winds will be a little bit of a south component, or if nothing else, just a little bit more out of the east with no north wind overnight. So now the morning low creeps up to 58. With a little bit of fog and some cloud coverage early on Sunday, skies should clear. Should be a beautiful, slightly warmer afternoon with highs across most of the Orlando metro area in the upper 70s on Sunday. Here comes the front Sunday night, a little bit of windy weather overnight, but not as strong as the immediate coastline. And now our temperature drops back down to 49 degrees on Monday morning. So now in metro Orlando, it's mid and upper 40s to kick off Monday. Plenty of sunshine, chilly day, but not bad. 74 will be the daytime high. For Tampa, okay? It's going to be a little bit cooler there on Monday. We're going to get to 77 tomorrow, 78 on Sunday, but morning lows will drop pretty quickly as we go into Monday. So you've got 55, then 61, and the morning low on Monday into the upper 40s. So I do expect most of Central Florida to at least be in the 40s, even in some of the warmer areas and urban areas, and some of the outlying rural areas knocking on the door of getting back into the 30s, all right? But cooler weather indeed on Monday with a high there in Tampa of 68. This is an area that I do expect there to be some colder weather, especially early next week. Ocala, the Villages, Bellevue, Inverness, Dunellen. It is going to be on the chillier side here. Again, chilly start tomorrow morning, 45. Great afternoon, beautiful. Sunshine, low humidity, maybe a few thin high clouds, that's it. Dry weather, 75. Milder start to Sunday, still chilly. Patchy fog, 53, but 8 degrees up compared to tomorrow morning for Sunday. Again, just that fringe impact of the warm front to our south. Great afternoon, 76. Here comes the front Sunday night. Here comes the colder north winds. And now you start off in Ocala tomorrow, or excuse me, Monday morning at 40 degrees. But a lot of Marion County up to Alachua County will be in the mid and the upper 30s. Cold start, probably not a lot of frost because the winds will still be up. I'll be monitoring that, but I don't expect there to be a lot of widespread frost with the next front, at least on Monday morning, because the winds will still be fresh. Now, could that be a scenario for Tuesday? Absolutely, and we'll cover that on Monday's live show. But it is a stark contrast despite the sunshine in Ocala on Monday. The high of just 59 degrees. It is going to be on the colder side, even with the sun. For the beaches, again, more cloud coverage overall. Certainly milder mornings because of the east component to the wind, right? Mostly sunny still tomorrow, 77 in Brevard beaches, Melbourne Beach, in the Atlantic, on over towards Satellite Beach, places like that. Not bad at all. Again, I do expect some clouds, especially late Saturday and Sunday, with the opportunity for a couple of showers. I don't want to say it's completely dry. There'll certainly be extra cloud coverage across coastal Brevard County on Sunday. We can have a few light showers try and develop underneath that cloud coverage, but still mild at 78. Then we start to see the north winds kick in on Monday, down to 58, and the daytime high actually struggles to get to the upper 60s. Okay, certainly will feel cooler outside. You'll want the windbreaker, even though we're in the upper 60s. And we're likely to see even colder weather coming in beginning on Tuesday behind this front as the wind settles back down. And of course, I'll highlight that on Tuesday's show, or excuse me, on Monday's show. Hey, Nick, how are you guys? Good to see everyone. 3 ads before I could watch this live. Hey, listen, it helps pay the bills. Okay, I appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching those ads. It is an important component of this if we want to keep continuing here. Very little in helping to pay the bills, but it does help to pay the bills. And of course, I appreciate y'all's support. You can always support the channel in various ways. The simplest way to do that is by hitting the like button and subscribing. Both of those things help to support the channel more than you guys think, because it allows other people to see that you're interested in it, and YouTube recommends it to more people who don't even know the channel exists. That's the simplest way to help out the channel if you like what we're doing here at CFLW. Okay, back over to the weather computer. I'm going to switch back over to, go back over to the HER model real fast, just to put a bow on the potential for, first of all, if I go over to these, let's see here, these wind gusts. Now, why is that? Come on. Oh, that's interesting. Flipped models on me here. If I single frame this wind gust product, if you look at your legend here, you can see the winds that are going to be coming with this next front, right? Especially the higher elevations, Garrett, of North Carolina, Boone and Banner Elk and everything like that on those ridge tops, they're probably going to have some 50-mile-an-hour winds sweeping through those. And then all that's going to be diving in. But by Sunday morning, we haven't had it as of yet. But when we talk about the potential for some fog, so I'm going to switch over to the visibility here. Let's see. There we go. And let's go to tomorrow morning. Now, first of all, anywhere that you see gray, the visibility is going to be just fine, right? So let's look at some of these query marks and see if we see any thicker fog. It looks like there's an opportunity down in southern Polk and Osceola counties and portions of Indian River County. A little bit closer to where the boundary is, right? Some areas of potential thicker fog. Tampa area, I think we're looking pretty good for the most part here. The West Coast, same situation. Potentially a couple of pockets of fog here up in Civil County, including Sanford and Lake Mary, but nothing outrageous even near the St. Johns. Towards De Leon Springs and DeLand, you can see there's a little pocket of fog. In a couple of areas here in inland Volusia County as well, near Pearson. Near the coast, I think we're looking pretty good. So I'm not expecting there to be a lot of areas of fog, and I'm not expecting there to be a lot of dense fog advisories, but there'll be a couple of spots. If we go to Sunday morning, okay, again, same scenario where pockets of thick fog as that boundary gets a little bit closer to us. So now the model has inland sides of Hernando and Pasco counties, Dade City, Zephyr Hills, portions of Sumter County with a couple of spots, northern Lake County, north of Umatilla, southwest of Astor. Would expect there to be a little bit of fog in localized spots in the metro Orlando area. The winds are going to be pulling onshore along the coast. Could produce some marine layer situation there, but as far as reducing visibility along the roads, and especially inland from US 1 and A1A, not likely to happen. And I think the Tampa area looks pretty good as well. But don't be surprised if you get out and you see some of that radiation fog right there along the roads. They're not covering the roads, but if you look into the fields, the open fields, you might see a little bit of that radiation fog early on Sunday morning. Okay. Hey, I appreciate it, Blue Goose. Thank you very much. Hey, Mary, how are you? First of all, thanks for jumping in from Melbourne. Appreciate you saying hi. And again, that's why I do this live, guys, so we can chat. If you have a specific question about the forecast, please feel free to drop it in the comments section below. So behind this, just real quickly here, I'm going to go back over to the GFS. And I just want to give you guys an idea of where this colder air is going with this next front. So if you look up in the legend here, as we get towards these colors, you get into the really cold air, right? And it has been frightfully cold across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. We will certainly see a nice plunge of that colder air briefly, right? Temperatures towards the end of next week should also begin to moderate. But again, as we get into, here is what's going to be Monday morning, right? And then Tuesday morning, cold, not freezing, cold, not freezing. A lot of 40s, probably some 30s, okay? I looked again at the European model for the next 2 weeks. At this point in time, I still don't see a freeze for a lot of Central Florida. Now, again, we got close in a couple of spots today. But in some regards, guys, remember, it's even not so much about whether your temperature hits 32. It's about whether there's a long enough duration to cause any problems. Today, we nipped 32 or stayed at 33 and 34 in a couple of spots. You got to have at least an hour or two duration below freezing to really cause any problems to exposed piping, to vegetation like that. I mean, you're going to want to cover them in some areas if you think there's going to be some frost. But as far as we're talking about freeze issues to local vegetation and citrus crops, there has to be some duration below freezing. And even today, we didn't get that. And anything that I've seen in the European model the next 2 weeks does not show any signs of actual freezing weather here. And overall, temperatures, while on the cooler side from time to time, are likely to stay, for the most part, slightly above average. When we look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, so again, this is going to take us from mid next week until next weekend, right? So we've let that next front coming in Sunday and Monday pass us by. Relatively speaking, the entire country is going to be at or above normal temperature-wise. This is your percent chance to be at or below temperatures. The gray is you have an equal chance of normal temperatures. When we get into this red, we have a higher than normal chance of seeing above average temperatures in the 6 to 10 day time frame, which is mid this week coming up until next weekend, okay? So temperatures moderating, a big time warming trend in the southwest as high pressure and a ridge builds in, and only the northern tier of the US is likely to stay at or below average. So for other areas of the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, it's going to start to get warmer if you got friends there. The other thing about it too is we're actually going to be slightly drier than average. That's what this brown means. Now, there could still be pockets of heavier rain, but when we average out the 6 to 10 day time frame, we're likely to see a below average rain total over those 6 to 10 days time frame, right? Dry out west where it gets hot, wetter weather in the Pacific Northwest and the northern tier of the country with some fast moving clipper type systems there, but we stay slightly warmer than average for the most part and slightly drier than average as well. Now again, there's variation on a day to day, but when we smooth out the curve, if you will, in that 6 to 10 day window, that's what I'm seeing. Can you do weather for Christmas Day? 13 days out. It's a little iffy, Neek. It's a little iffy. Probably not with any crazy skill. Yes, the models do go out that far, but I haven't personally looked that deep. I like 7 days for the most part. If there's something very interesting, that I've seen down the road, especially when it comes to like tropical stuff. I'll highlight that. Here's what I'll do, Neek, because you asked. Coming up on Monday's show, I'll do a little bit more deep dive over the weekend and on Monday to what I could potentially see as, maybe not a detailed Christmas forecast, but some trends that might be coming our way for the Christmas week, and I'll highlight that. Does that sound fair? So on Monday's show, I'll do a little bit more of an extended forecast than I normally do. I want to do a little bit more analysis too here. I could bring up the models and we could look at them together, but I want to do a little bit more deep dive, but I'll do that on Monday's show. But fantastic question. I'm happy to do that for you. All right. Does anyone have any other specific questions about the forecast? All right. I think we're going to keep this at a tight 30 today, guys. Again, gorgeous weekend. Get ready for the warm front in our southern areas for Sunday. Get ready for a nice blast of cooler weather coming back in Sunday evening, and you're going to really feel it on Monday. So on Monday's show, we'll talk about the colder weather for Monday and Tuesday. We'll talk about the next chance for rain after that in the moderating temperatures, and we'll do that preview for the Christmas Day forecast as well. Please remember the CFLW is sponsored by the Lane Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. You get storm damage of any kind, wind, hail, hurricane, flooding. They'll walk you through the insurance claim process. Check them out by going to leanomnilaw.com for more information. All of my friends in the chat, I appreciate you guys thinking enough about this channel to take part of your day and spend it with me. It really does mean a lot. Thank you for tuning in so much. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday at 1 o'clock for the latest edition of CFLW, the show. Until then, take care. Make sure you have the jackets for Monday, and I'll see you then.